Welcome to another Motortown post-event race commentary. Today we got the second set of the cardio BPM event. So the same tracks as the last time, just later in the day with a different set of opponents. A few maybe the same as the last time, definitely Chess is always there because Chess is hosting. I'm of course participating, otherwise there wouldn't be any videos about it, at least not on my channel. And this time around we got 8 people instead of the 7 from last time, so let's jump right in. You should be knowing what this is all about. 3 city tracks and then a harbor bonus track, all with our little new Pulse over here with its stock engine. And yeah, I'm starting in second lane right here, and it's just gonna I could have gotten off a bit better. I hit the brakes for some reason. I think maybe I was afraid of just launching into somebody else in front of me. There's always a bit of delay going on, so the cars might be standing around a bit longer on my screen than what they are doing for the people driving. But yeah, I'm in fourth position now, and trying to not make it fifth here, but we'll have to see. I'm usually not fighting too hard for position. But yeah, Dan is kind of getting past me here, even though I'm on the inside. But that doesn't really help much if you're having issues like that. We got Finny to the left of me, but I'm trying to at least keep fourth position, even though, yeah, that's an overtake. Followed by a run in with a bus stop. Yeah, this turn pretty blind, pretty hard to tell, and Noel got taken out by a bit of lag, it seems. Hard to tell what's going on there. Would really need both their videos in order to see what's going on. From my POV, it just looked really messy, and well, at least it got me back into fourth position, even third now. I don't know if it was me who took out Dan over there. I don't think it was. At least on my screen, it felt like I was just driving behind him. With what I've seen from the first set of these races, yeah, the car tends to sometimes just screw you over if you're not being super careful. So while I'm definitely contemplating whether or not I was involved in that thing there, right now I'm just gonna try and keep my position and catch up with DK and hopefully overtake. Chess is already miles away, at least in terms of how the race is going. So yeah, I'm trying to get to second position, but with how tight and twisty these tracks are, it can be really difficult. It's a bit akin to Monaco with the F1 races, so yeah, gonna try and keep up, gonna try and overtake. I feel like I got potentially the better pace at this point, but that doesn't really help if every single attempt of me trying to get past the guy in front is just gonna get blocked off. But yeah, bit of a brake failure on the person in front, but not enough for me to get past. And yeah, that's the thing with tight courses. Even if you mess up a few corners, if the person behind you cannot get past you, then you're not gonna suffer from it too much. At this point, getting into first position is pretty much out of the question for anybody but Chess anyways. So yeah, not like we are missing out on that potential. I'm missing out on potentially losing my position to a few other people here. So I'm gonna try and keep up to DK, but this is really feeling a bit like driving in traffic right now. And yeah, I'm not really keeping up too well, but honestly, when it comes to these kind of things, having a bit of space between you and the guy in front of you might be really good, because if they mess up and you are right behind them, you might just bump into them, you might be able to brake, but you are very much unlikely to be able to get past them. But with a bit more run up to them, if they mess up, you get more speed through the same turn, then you should be able to capitalize on it a bit easier. Although at this point I honestly cannot tell whether I was trying to keep a bit of distance um, yeah, as a plan for overtaking, or if this is just all because I was able to keep it together and put down the pace. But yeah, you can see on the map that there's clearly a lot of traffic snaking going on right now. Just everybody behind each other, and this was definitely a little mess up on my end here. I tried going for an overtake, I think. Let's quickly rewind. I was trying to go for an overtake, but yeah, didn't really work out. Had to cut in quite a bit more than I was happy with, and yeah, the terrain wasn't helping me with that. So DK now a bit further ahead. Everybody behind me a bit closer to me and likely a bit more frustrated because they can't get past me either. But yeah, first half of the race is over. We are now on to the third of 4 laps. I'm trying to catch back up, but it might not happen. But yeah, I think I'm kind of getting closer again, at least a little bit. Trying to take this turn well, because once again we have slightly longer straight after, so these are the really important corners that you need to be really good with in order to being able to be a bit faster, potentially get a position, but it didn't really work out this time around. And yeah, to summarize my thoughts on the car real quick, which I also talked about in the last video, I'm not entirely happy with how it handles. It's really understeery most of the time, can snap oversteer, and if you spin out, it's a pain to get into reverse gear because you have to actually fully stop the car before being able to shift gears. So this is really all not too great in my opinion. But I still like having another EV in the game. They just may want to change a few things about how the entire thing is going. How they handle certain things. But yeah, this car with being a rear-wheel drive with EVs having that much torque, it was always gonna be a bit of a tough one. Okay, trying to take this one wide and hopefully take more speed through it. Didn't really pan out too well. So at this point I'm really holding up the people behind me. Although to be fair, I haven't really seen them come up to me that much, or at all really. Which is likely gonna change now because I messed up that turn majorly, and yeah, that's 3 people running past me without anything that I could do about it. So that lost me pretty much the race right there, but yeah, that's just what happens sometimes. Last lap now, so let's try and keep it together. Potentially there could be a lot of positions gained here, but given how the race went until this point, I doubt it. But I'm also at least very far away from losing this place to 7th position. But yeah, if you look at the stuff that's going on in front of me, it's looking like a bunch of ducks all working in a line there. Not really too much happening. So we're not really missing out on any action, it seems. Maybe if somebody goes for a risky overtake in one of the last few turns, there might be something that could be gained. But right now it seems a bit unlikely. But something seems to be happening there. I don't see a change in positions, but they definitely went a bit wide over there, so yeah, they're trying to battle. And I think DK got caught out. Oh no, that's actually raging in the bushes over there. So I got one of my positions back, and I think DK also got taken out from second place, where he is, and yeah, I made up a few places again, just by waiting behind. Also almost won again, had a little bit of a weird moment there. But yeah, first race, yeah, pretty much done at this point. Unless I manage to lose it in the last corner again, we should be good here. It was a bit more spicy than I really liked it to be. It looks really harmless, but when you're driving, you know the car can really screw you over in a moment's notice. But yeah, first race over, fourth position. Not too bad. But here we are. On the second race, I'm in the front row again. I'm sorry, my throat is a bit sore. I got maybe a bit of a cold recently. The back of my throat is a bit burning. I took a bit of medicine recently, which made my entire mouth numb. But yeah, it's maybe wasn't the best day to record, but at the end of it, I didn't feel too great the rest of the week, so today is something where I really want to do at least some recording, and this was on the schedule, so here we are. Again, pretty good run up into the first corner with something really bad happening right behind me, just like with the last time I went on this track. So once again holding first position. And yeah, almost messing up that turn. I mean, pretty much messing up there. And yeah, just being a bit too aggressive on the curbs here, trying to get the place back, but yeah, that's really hard to regain. And yeah, that didn't help too much either, although the drift could have been saved if I didn't spin out after. But yeah, now I'm basically on the sidewalk trying to get the next checkpoint and get back on the track without being any nuisance to anybody else. But yeah, I think I'm down into fourth position at this point. Oh, and I don't know what really happened there. That didn't happen the other race, and yeah, honestly, at this point, I'm getting maybe a bit impatient with the car, which is not a good thing. Missing the braking point, getting caught on the curb and spinning out. This is honestly my worst race that I had in this car. It's also really not helping that, once again, my impatience and me trying to make up places by going onto the curbs and stuff like that. This is pretty much done already. And since the guy in last position forfeit, I'm basically in last now. I don't think too much else is gonna happen here. This is pretty much done and dusted in one race or in one lap. 3 more laps around here, but we'll watch them anyways, see if something happens. Might be something good, hopefully. I mean, pace-wise, I should be able to get at least one place back, but it's gonna depend on me not messing up too much, and with the speed bumps once again, I could have maybe forfeited this point. Wouldn't have been too bad. Not really much to lose from here anyways. But yeah, the one thing I remember from this race is that it went really poorly and I stuck it out to the end regardless. But yeah, stuff like that, once again, not really doing myself any favor. These are things that I can maybe do with most other cars if they're not too low or set up too hard with suspension. But this one really doesn't forgive me for that stuff. Yeah, coming back around up to the pizza place. But everybody else in front of me is quite far away. Apart from the person in sixth, which I don't really know what they are doing right there. So theoretically I got another place back, but I'm not entirely sure what happened there, so seems like a bit of a weird maneuver. Yeah, trying to drive a bit more cleanly now it seems. And it's kinda working. A thing that I'm noticing now with the footage is that it's kinda not always running smoothly. It seems a bit jittery here and there. I don't know how that happened. But yeah, something to maybe look into. I don't know. I used to be really good with setting up OBS and all of that, but right now I'm really door in the blank when it comes to the settings. So I like how the stuff looks overall, but I don't know why it's having so many FPS issues here and there. But there's also the factor that the game itself isn't the best when it comes to optimization. So it's really taking in a lot of resources right now, which it really shouldn't for what it is right now. But there is definitely a lot of stuff to be done with optimizing draw distance and other things in the game right now. So I hope that future updates will help with that, and that might hopefully also free up a bit of performance for my game capture. Also another thing that I don't know if I wanted to address, but since we see it in chat right now all the time, let's just talk about it. So the guy who forfeited this race also had a lot of issues with the last one. And you know how some of these events used to go for me? It's not always amazing, especially when desync is involved, or back in the day, the issue with traffic and police cars. It's annoying, it's frustrating, but really, um, try to not be the guy who then just constantly complains in chat. I sometimes leave a message after the race saying that, yeah, that stupid cop really messed me up or something. Well, I had one event where after the first race I felt like, yeah, this isn't for me today. So I told them, yeah, I'm not feeling this today, I'm out. And that's the start and end of it. Don't be the guy who constantly complains in chat about it. Just if you have to forfeit for whatever reason, just sit on the sideline. Maybe save it to DNF, but I honestly find this really distracting. I, once again, have empathy for people who want to have a good race and have run into situations that made that impossible. But I don't know. I don't like it when it's just constantly when just chatting around. That's also a thing that I had on the GTA racing servers that I played on quite a while ago. Back in the day, we basically had an agreement that people are not supposed to chat during races. So if you join the server and the race is going on, you're not supposed to say like, hello, how's it going, how's the race, whatever. You sit there, you wait until the race is over, and then you can chat. But people who want to race, they really gotta focus on it, and chatting them up is really not a good idea, yeah. Once again, that's a rule for GTA racing. Doesn't apply here because we haven't done anything like that, but yeah. It's a bit of a difference from where I come from and where I'm at right now with TWL racing. And I like that it's a bit more relaxed, but still. mm. And also just wanted to talk a bit about how it is handled in other situations. Doesn't really mean that it has to be like that on this kind of thing, but yeah. I think it's worth at least talking about where I'm coming from with that idea. Also, I just got another place back and looking at how Dan was singing over the edge there at the corner, yeah, that can happen sometimes. Been there, done that. But yeah, if I hadn't messed up doing especially the first lap so much and had shown more of the pace that I am having right now, I would have been definitely much better off with positions and everything here. But yeah, you're gonna be really careful and um, stuff like that for the car to not do what it's just done to me there. It's kind of annoying that it can mess you up this much, but yeah. Here we are, end of the second race, last position effectively. And yeah, I'm steering this back into the river just like last time. Goodbye, Pulse. Um, oh wait, there it was. I don't know why it just skipped it, but here we are now for the third race. That was a bit weird. Definitely wasn't time for the bonus race yet, but here we are in Ara again. Of course, same track as last time, 4 laps again, and I'm starting in pole position now because I think this might be my race. Yeah, already pretty happy about it. And here we go, the race is on. And I found it's always a good idea with this car at least to not rev up beforehand. If you're spinning your wheels, you're just gonna not have a good launch, and starting from 0 RPM with how the power band works with this car, not a problem. Starting with wheel spin already, you're just gonna not have a good time. And yeah, one thing that I didn't notice, apparently Noel just disconnected from the server between the races, rejoined, and at that point, yeah, you gotta go into the event again. You're gonna leave it and rejoin because otherwise you're not gonna be really in the next one. There's a weird little desync going on where while it still shows you in the event, it doesn't give you the checkpoints anymore. So that might be something that should be addressed at some point. I would have to maybe do a bit of testing in order to get some footage and really narrow down what's happening there for a decent bug report. But I think this should really be taken care of so that people, even if they rejoin mid-event, they should be able to get back in there, unless they were kicked off the server. But if they had a disconnect, it would be nice if they could get back into an active race that they started and then just continue racing. But yeah, we are coming around the end of the first lap here. I'm in first position. Shot by gun is behind me, and this is one where Chess is actually quite a few positions down, which might even help me get a decent place here. Chess has definitely been the most consistent or consistently fast driver in these races. So that's always one to look out for. Of course, there are quite a few other pretty fast people in here, but Chess has been taking away the win more than once, so gotta be careful about him. But yeah, so far only Shot by Gun is really behind me. Everybody else is a bit further down the line. And I'm trying to get a bit away, trying to make a bit more space between me and second. But yeah, it's also still the fact that I have to be careful with this car. The worst thing that can happen now is a screw up, because that would definitely cost me a position and potentially get me into danger by being overtaken by the entire field behind that person. But yeah, here we go. Second lap almost over. Coming back up to the top ledge over here, right next to the supermarket, and there's the start-finish line for the end of the second lap. I don't like how much the other guy is crawling onto the track now. Like, they should really be off in the green somewhere. But yeah, here we go, third lap. Taking this corner pretty well, maybe going a bit too wide too early at the end of it. Could have maybe taken a bit more speed through here. But yeah, ideally I should be really slowing down in order to take this one a bit wider. But what I'm doing, however, I'm just taking this really tightly, which isn't the best way. But yeah, still in second place, and I'm even making up a few meters now. I mean, I'm still in first, of course. Didn't hit the apex there, so that's a bit... that wasn't the best way to handle that turn, but the other one here I thought was really... That was one that I handled well, but once again, apparently Shot by Gun was a bit faster than me. He's really getting close now, and so is the person in third. So we don't have that massive gap between second and third anymore. They are kinda catching up. Chess is still in sixth position. But I gotta be careful here. I had it in the last race that I had some weird torque steering moment, and that caught me off guard. But yeah, third lap is also almost over now, so we are going on to the final lap, and I haven't let go of first position here so far, which is really good. Bit of a weird drift out, and that didn't work out in my favor. And Shot by Gun is now catching up to me. And yeah, now I'm in second place, and this is also where it's going to start falling apart for some reason. So I'm able to go on the inside. I am a bit quicker. I'm trying to carry it around, but yeah, I think this was desync. I wasn't able to keep control over the car after being pushed like that. And that loses me 2 positions, and I don't know how this happened. I felt like it was trying to spin out to the right, so I had to counter steer, and then it caught me anyways, so yeah. This is how you lose all your positions in one instance, so I'm now in last, effectively. And yeah, trying to go for risky maneuvers in order to try and keep up again, or at least catch up again, and hopefully go for another overtake. Having 3 positions in first place and then completely losing it just like that definitely hurt a little bit. But it is what it is sometimes. But yeah, I got three people right in front of me, not really in range for me to do anything, but yeah, I would have loved to. And in the end, I spin another time, and if my fate wasn't sealed beforehand, now it definitely is. But yeah, that's the second, or that's officially the last race, but we are going to do the bonus race again. This time around, even with 10 laps, so it's gonna be a bit longer than before. But yeah, this is it for this race. Also, quick note on the whole thing on how it's organized that I can get the Campy out for the last one. Basically, I leave the server and go into single player where I have all my Campy set up. Then I just teleport over to DASA, load back onto the server, and load in the Campy at the parking lot. So that's how I can get to DASA within about a minute or so. But yeah, here we are for the final race. Or more like the bonus race. The official final race, of course, was the last one. Couldn't have gotten away with a win, but in the end I didn't. So yeah, repeating this one, I'm trying to show people where to go since I'm in first position. I went extra wide and it completely messed me up. But then nothing too bad happened, so I'm back in the race and we are going again this time around in second position. And yeah, first lap is over. And overall the field is still pretty tight apart from the person last who once again said that they are out. So here we go. I don't even know where the third place is on the map. Must be right behind me. Was really hard to see the number for a moment. But yeah, Martin in front of me is just driving away from me, and the car is also just not cooperating all that much here. Once again, letting everybody else pass so that I don't really cause any issues rejoining. Always gonna be careful about that. Trying to go for an overtake here, but the track was pretty much blocked off for a moment. But yeah, I got 2 positions back. And once again, got DK right in front of me. I hope this time around I'll be able to find a way to overtake, unlike in the Lijo City race. But yeah, for top position we have Martin, Chess, and Raging. So they are all pretty much fighting for it. We're gonna see how that turns out. At least looking at the ranking on the left. But I also still got my own race to drive here, so we'll see how all of this pans out in the end. The laps are all pretty short, but there are at least quite a few of them, so there is potential for stuff to happen. But yeah, with how understeer the car is, it's really tough to get it to do those corners, get around the turn, and also not run into things on the outside. That pack of crates and pallets is really looking tempting again. And yeah, this was an interesting maneuver, not exactly planned. I tried to just set up a bit better for the corner, but somehow managed to just get the checkpoint with the back and go around the pole the other direction. In a real race, of course, this wouldn't be flying, but here we are only following the checkpoint, and if I have the checkpoint, why should I go there? But yeah, I wasn't even able to keep up with DK on this one. I don't know if there's something wrong with my car and how it's being set up. It just really doesn't feel great. I tried a few things before, but in the end, some of the potential nimbleness from it had to be sacrificed in order to maintain control a little bit better. Otherwise, I would only be facing more issues. But yeah, here we are. It should be about lap 8 out of 10 right now. Or more like lap 9 out of 10? I don't know. Yeah, it should be lap 9 now. We are going from 80% to 90%. And then there's only one lap to go afterwards. And yeah, Martin seems to keep it in first position. Chess in second, then in third, Raging in fourth. And then we got DK in front of me, who I once again wasn't able to take the place from. So I'm just in sixth position with Shot by Gun behind me and Finny behind that. And that's it. So yeah, once again, I hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching and see you guys next time for, I don't know. Still have to figure out some things here. I got a list of stuff that I want to do, but I'll have to figure out an opportune time. Some of it needs a bit of setup. But I'll catch you with the next one regardless. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Until next one, have a good one and bye bye.